So we're going to use an add-on. Now this add-on is built into ZBrush. In fact, it's built onto all versions of ZBrush for the last 10 years. So you'll always find it. If you go to Z plugin, you'll go to Decimation Master. And now there's two sections to this. There's two sections to know about. There is the pre-process and there's the decimation. The pre-process is what we need to do first because it's a pre-process, so it definitely would be the first one. I'll click on pre-process all. Now if you look right up here, you can see it actually processing it. One of them is completed. Did it actually finish? I don't think it finished. Let me try to do it again. Pre-process all, and make sure all of them are visible as well. Pre-process all. Now here's the thing, what exactly is Decimation Master doing? It's going to optimize our high polys, right? But it's not just going to optimize it, it's going to optimize in a very smart way. What it does is that the pre-processing, it looks at every single vertex that you have in your model. Every single vertice, and it'll give it a priority. It'll say, does this vertice contribute a lot to the silhouette, or does it not contribute a lot? If the vertices are not contributing at all, it removes it. And if, oh, I have not enough memory. Oh no, that's not good. Does that break it? No, that's fine. But the biggest thing that will happen, I'll probably have to close some programs, I have a lot of things open. But the biggest thing that happens is that every single vertice is given a priority number, given an importance number, right, out of 0 to 10. Right? If you have a value 10, it means you're very important. You should always stay there. If you have value 0, it means that you're a vertex on a flat surface, and you could remove it, and no one will ever know the difference. So that's what Decimation Master does, is that it looks, pre-process, looks at every single vertex and gives it a priority, and then the decimation allows you to reduce it, keeping the ones that have a high priority and removing the ones that don't. Right? A good example is if you look at this shape. If you look at the flat surface here, look at that flat surface. That flat surface doesn't need 500,000 polygons in order to recreate it. It does not need that, right? All it really needs is to make that flat shape. So that would definitely be very low in polygons. So the idea is that it's going to analyze every single vertice, and then I'm going to be able to decimate it so that I only have the most important details. This is going to be important for Max because right now we're only going to be baking with a simple plane, right? But understand that if you're making an actual prop and your high poly is going to be 30 million polygons, you doing retypology of it is going to really be painful. Okay, so that's good. We did it. It is optimized. Now, if I go here, although it's been pre-processed, I need to decimate it now. So right now, decimation is usually set, at 100%. The default is 20%. So it's going to remove 80% of my vertices now when I click Decimate All. There we go. You can see that it's going through it. It's reducing the count. You can see that now my count is much lower from 6.5 million to only 1 million. And you can see that the asset still looks the same. It still looks the same, right? Now, if I go back, I can decimate this all the way to 1% and still have majority of my changes. I'll click Decimate All. And you can see some differences with the main pillar, but with the rock you can't. So what I'll do is I'll undo this. And you can see that it restores it a bit. I'll go back and I'll set this. Maybe I'll set this to 10%. Actually, let me set it to 5 or 6. Pre-process all. Perfect. Processing, processing. Cool. All right. Looks good. We're about basically down to 500,000. Now, FYI, this piece right here that I have selected is about 1,000,000 or 500,000. And these other pieces are about 12 each, which is not bad. It's definitely okay. Now, here's what I could do to further optimize this. If I hide them all, have one of them selected, I could remove the parts that don't really matter. Right? I could actually do this. I could hit Control Shift. I could go onto my geometry and I can delete anything that's higher than this. Right now it doesn't look like I have anything higher, which is good. So let me remove this. Like that. Just like that. Nice and clean. The back is going to optimize completely fine. And I'll do that for my next assets. I guess I could just do straight up like that. There we go. Next one. There we go. Perfect. So let me do another decimate. I'll click on pre-process all because I'll need to reprocess it since I changed the models. Right, so I think I did that. Pre-process all, perfect. If I go to my model here, I can optimize it. So let me set it to like 20%. And I'll click decimate current. Yeah, let me set this to 15 or 10%. Decimate current. So I'll process the current one. And decimate current. There we go. So now it's at 50K. Barely changed. Right, you can kind of see that not much changes. You can see a little bit changes on the very top, but from the middle, not much. And we change it from like 3 million to 500 to 50. Cool. All right, so we got that looking pretty good, pretty low. We got this 14, we got this 12. Everything's looking good. The reason why you need to have it super low, right? You're probably wondering, like, Mello, isn't this a little bit too low? Like, this is only 12,000 for a high poly. Yeah, but if you look at the wireframe, you can see it really optimized it. It really made sure that anything that was on flat, it was optimized. Here it's flats. There are some vertices, but I think what happened is that maybe even this can be further optimized, to be honest. Let's see. If I go to pre-process current, and if I go here to decimate, decimate all, or decimate current, there we go. So you can see optimize even more. And it barely even changes the front. Right? I need to make this a little bit not so heavy though. So let me put it to like 50. Decimate current. Yeah, so barely changed, and at the back, a lot more optimized. Same thing with this. Decimate current. Oh, you know what? This is from the old model. Let me pre-process current and then decimate it. There we go. Right, so now it's going to run like butter in 3ds Max. All right, so let's export this out. How do we export this out? I will recommend exporting it out. You can do it through this menu, File Exports. You'll export it as an OBJ, because I know with OBJs you'll get separate files. So do that. Otherwise, things could be in one file. So I'll export this out. Right now, this is only going to give me one object. Right? It's only going to give me this object I have selected. So I don't want that. What I do want is I'm going to go to the add-ons. So under the Z plugin, I'm going to go right down here to Subtool Master. Why use Subtool Master? Because Subtool Master will export all visible subtools. So I have them all visible, like that. So this is important. Right now I only have 3. And obviously I can do this all manually because it's 3. But I'm promising you that I have easily worked with assets that were 10, 15 different subtools. And to spend your time one by one exporting them out is going to be painful. So the idea is that as long as they're all visible, they're all seenable, you can go to Z plugin, Subtool Master, and export. Default settings are completely fine. OBJ, this you'll have to leave it at OBJ just because they don't have FBX for this menu, and press OK. And I'm just going to name it as finished ZBrush items and hit save. How to save a file in ZBrush. To save a file in ZBrush, so if you want to save your current subtools, I would recommend going right up here, Save As. And then you'll save out your current subtool. So I can name this as items. If you ever wanted to paint and create your own textures and save your whole project, you could save going under File. File, Save As will save the whole project. So just make sure that you're using P or ZPR, which is ZBrush project files, and then you'll save out the whole project. But realistically, if you just wanted a 3D asset, which is usually better off saving as a tool. Which one is recommended? It really depends, but I would say tools are usually the best. Sometimes I always used to do projects and save as project, but I've known from people online, and I've even experienced this problem, is that sometimes, very rarely, so hardly ever, but it will probably happen if you use ZBrush hundreds of times, that it can get corrupted this way. And a lot of people will say when it corrupts, they usually recommend using tools, so saving as tools. So I would say always use it as tools, for sure, 100%. The only reason I ever recommend saving it this way is because I know when people are using ZBrush for the first time, they might screw up on this, right? A good example is that, yeah, if I hit Save As, I'll save this, right? But if you screw up and you click on this or something else, you'll export that instead, and you won't have your assets. If you click on Save Project, it'll save all of your subtools that you have created. So it's one of the clear ways of preventing any loss. So maybe the best thing I'll recommend, at least for the first couple weeks you guys are doing this for the first time, is do both. Just do both, right? Just oversave. You can never be too safe. So just save here and then save the project, right? I'll just say save both because, hey, if you accidentally screw this up, you definitely lost your file. But if you save it from a project, the project is just going to grab everything. So now we got that. We got it exported. Let's throw it into Max. And we will export it from there.